Welcome to the ISO on the Gonzaga Nation Media Network. A return guest, this time a guest to preview the Gonzaga Baylor game at one of my favorite gyms in the country, the Pentagon in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. The Baylor head coach, Scott Drew. Scott, thanks for joining.
Well, thanks for having me. It's always great being on your show. You know how much respect I have for you personally and obviously Gonzaga. Man, it is a great gym. So it reminds me of a small Hinkle field house. It's definitely a shooter's gym. I know our guys were really excited when they saw it for the first time yesterday.
I've been there multiple times, and each time, it kind of brings back that nostalgic feel, like you mentioned about Hinkle Fieldhouse. You grew up in Indiana.
Yeah.
I can only imagine there were some unbelievable high school game atmospheres
Yeah.
in Indiana. Give me really quickly your favorite high school gym and your
Yeah.
favorite college gym that you've either played or coached in.
Yeah, great question. I tell you, my favorite high school gym is they used to have the state tournament, and they would get 30,000, 40,000 fans for the high school state finals when it was one class, when they didn't have different divisions. And to me, that was just the coolest thing, that it was like a Final Four. And in Indianapolis, they would do that in the dome, and that was amazing. As far as college arenas, we played everywhere that you can imagine, but to me, in conference, there's no place like playing at home. So obviously, you're going to like your place. But this place reminds me of Butler, the Hinkle Fieldhouse, Lawrence, Kansas, Duke, like that old high school feeling, only except a lot smaller. And it really gives you that shooter's vibe. So Gonzaga has the number one offense in the country. We have the number two offense in the country. And I think there's going to be a lot of people excited to make shots.
I'm sure, Gonzaga early in this season has had some ups and downs, as has pretty much every team across the
Everybody.
country. I think it speaks to a lot of parity in college basketball. I know you're focused on your team and the next task at hand with the opponent, but when you look at the overall landscape, what are you seeing in college basketball this year?
Well, see, I love talking with you because I know you're very intelligent and astute, and people want to know, like, why are you guys losing, or why are they losing? That's what makes college basketball, is the parity, and it's more than it's ever been because of, one, the
Yeah.
transfer portal, but two, now you throw in COVID, and you have fifth and sixth year guys. So no matter how talented an 18-year-old is, 24 is still 24. I use the
Yes.
equation with our 18-year-olds. How many times does a 13-year-old beat you? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
that doesn't happen often. So like people, it's just there's so many good players, and with the experience teams have, it just really makes it for each and every night is a battle. And it's tough playing on the road anywhere. And our sport, more than any sport's affected by crowds because the proximity and the emotion that goes into it and the intensity.
I think you and Gonzaga's program are very similar in the fact that it's been a slow build while you've been really good, but been a slow
Yeah.
build to be in Final Fours, be in national title games. You guys beat Gonzaga. And along with that, I would imagine part of your recruiting opportunities change. You can now start getting McDonald's All-Americans. You can start, getting in the doors with quote higher level prospects early. Doesn't mean they're always the right fit, but how has your recruiting philosophy changed over the years?
Well, I think the point you make, you have more doors open to you. The hard part is making sure you stay true to your program. And there's certain people that our staff can coach and do a really good job with. There's certain people that would be better going to other programs. And as you know, certain players play better in certain styles. They need to be coached by different staffs or coaches. Our program is a program that we really got to have that character and that work ethic, because that's kind of how our staff is, and that's who we want to coach and be around. So, what we've been able to do, the more doors that are open, normally you get talent or character, and when you're at the highest level, you get both. So, but at the end of the day, 18-year-olds versus 24-year-olds, That's hard. So I mean, especially right now with the COVID year, until that stuff is wiped away and people are really only back to 5 years. So to brag on us in Gonzaga, because we have so much respect, obviously, for Coach Few, the program, know all you guys, Coach Jakis, Rim, all the family connections. In the last 3 years, both our programs are the only programs to be ranked number one. Our programs are both the only programs to have back-to-back top 10 picks. And I don't know about Coach Few, but when we have top 10 picks, I'm a better coach. So the better the player, the better the coach. But both of us have really been blessed to have a lot of success, and can't thank our staffs and players, fan bases, administrations for helping build all that for both of us.
You mentioned a couple common coaches that have been on both staffs as coaches or players, Rem Backus, John Jakis. You, as well as Gonzaga, have recently had a coach that's been in your program for a long time, move to another program and start to build that program and have success. It was Tommy Lloyd at Arizona. You have Jerome Tang, who I believe was with you for quite some time. He's now having a nice start at Kansas State.
Yeah.
What is that kind of proud feeling of, hey, I know you're ready. I'd love to have you here, but if you do go, how you pull for them? What is that like?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that with us, we've had Coach McCaslin at North Texas done an amazing job. Paul Mills at Oral Roberts, Coach Driscoll at North Florida, Coach Tang. They lost their first game, but they're off to a great start, and he's doing an amazing job and is going to be really successful. And very similar to Tommy, you knew he was more than ready. You knew both of them had turned down jobs before. I know Coach Tang left when he felt God led him to leave, and we're going to cheer for him. The only thing that's tough is when they're in the same conference, you do have to face them. And it's a little easier when they're not in the same conference, and you never have to play. You hate playing friends unless if you do, you rather be in the national championship game or something like this where, you know what, when we play Gonzaga, there's no loser on the net. I mean, there's no bad loss. It's great publicity for both programs, and I get to brag about Coach Few and the great job they do. And I mean, like Roger Powell was on my brother's staff for a long time, and he's a great family friend. So just there's so many connections.
Last question, Coach, because I know you guys are busy this time of year, and I do appreciate the time. You know, college football has basically made everybody think about conference realignment, and Gonzaga always gets thrown into all these conversations. A couple years ago, it was the Mountain West. Now it's the Big 12 and the Pac-12 are talking about it. The Big East has been talked about. Without going into nuts and bolts about what it would be like for Gonzaga in the Big 12, what would your advice be to Coach Few and that athletic department as they kind of sift through all of these rumors, which behind the rumors, I know there's got to be conversations, but they're not substantial yet?
Well, the first thing, it's a great compliment to the program and what everyone's built, that people want them a part of the league and entertain conversations about such. I think it really comes down to the nice thing is you don't have to worry about football. You don't have that. And you got a great basketball program. So from the Big 12 standpoint, we've been the top ranked conference for I believe 6 of the last 9 years or 7 of the last 9 years since 2002. Where the 60% of our league has gone to a Final Four. In the last 3 national championship games, we've had different teams from our league play in it. So I know Coach Few loves playing against great competition. So in the Big 12, he'd fit right in because the best always want to play against the best. But again, it's just a tribute to Coach Few, Gonzaga, what program you guys have built. So obviously, whatever you end up doing, you're going to do what's in the best interest. But it's great to have options because that means you're successful.
Yes, I agree with all that. So, Coach, I appreciate the time. Again, I will be pulling for Baylor in every other game but one this year, and that will be Friday night. I think you can understand that. But best of luck the rest of the way.
I definitely understand. So tell the family hello. Your son's going to have a tough decision one day, Baylor or Gonzaga. But other than that, you have a great day, all right?
All right. Thanks, Coach.